Ho, ho, ho! Well, it's a few days before Christmas, and it's also time to plan on what we're going to be growing in this wonderful year that's about to come upon us, 2025, the new season. New Year's is not that far away, and yes, we got a couple weeks to plan, but it's always a good time to start figuring out what you want to plant in the new season. And if you've been collecting seeds as much as I have, well, this might be a time for a lot of you people out there to go, what do I really want to grow next year? So let's break out the grow books. But where do we start and how do we start? Well, the quickest way you start, you jump back to your Bible and figure out what you're going to be growing in January. Now, of course, in January, we got a bunch of different things. We got jalapenos, and we're going to be starting doing tomatoes as well. And you can even jump down even to like maybe throwing out some cucumbers, some basil, some borage. Doesn't really matter. But what you want to do is start looking at what months you want to start preparing your plants for. Now, you want to focus on certain plants that are going to do great, certain plants that may not do great. But how do you know which plants are the plants to plant? Well, I might help you with that one. But also, doing your research for the zone that you're in. I'm in zone 7A. I'm dead center in the middle of Long Island, New York. And my temperature is different from people all over the place. I mean, put it this way. I left my house this morning to go to work. It was 8 degrees in the morning. And I got to work, it was 13. So it's a little colder at my house. So that means that certain things at my house are going to be, don't like the cold. The temperature is going to be colder by the time I get to work, right? And work for me is about 15-20 minutes away. And it's really not that far. So that means that in a little broad spectrum, you got to make sure that what you're growing is something that you want to be growing. So we're going to throw the Bible over there. And we're going to pull out some books. But we got our clipboard over here for what we're going to be growing for 2025. Crazy, right? Now, there's actually one thing I actually want to do, and I got to seed it up. I'm going to seed it up today in front of you guys. But I wanted to go back to something quickly in the book. And it is... Right, so next year we're actually going to be growing determinate tomatoes alongside of the indeterminate tomatoes out in the field. So they're going to go hand in hand. It's going to be great. Squash, zucchini, cauliflower, cabbage, watermelons. A lot of things growing in different spots. So let's get to what we want to grow and what we may be thinking about growing. Oh, let the fun begin, right? So one of the things on my list of tomatoes I'm going to be growing is I'm going to be calling it my mix. Now, so I'm going to show you very shortly before we get to the books. Because just like Santa, I got a lot of books with a lot of things inside of it. And it's really hard for me to decide exactly what seed or plant that I want to actually really get growing. But one of the things I want to do is I want to grow my tomato 2024 mix. And that is what's in this tray right now. So in this tray right now is literally a bunch of seeds from this past season, from all the tomatoes that I grew, all broken down, laid out, and let to dry for a long period of time, that were from plants that did very, very well this past season. The thing is, I'm crumbling them off of the paper. Shop towels work great. The seeds come right off of them. Crumble it in your hand. And down they go to the pan below. Anything that's left over goes into the compost pile, which then they sit dormant, so on and so forth. Hey, back here. Heather. There's going to be a lot of seeds left over, but that's fine. I'm not worried about it. When you constantly keep doing this, you're going to have seeds and seeds and seeds for days. You're going to have so many seeds, you don't even know what you're going to do with them. Okay. Yes, there's some more seeds left over, but that's fine. They're going to go into the compost pile. Now in this mix of seeds, these are a mix of yellow plum, red cherries, Amish paste, Cherokee purples, pineapples, black crims, and mysterious tomatoes that I got from the supermarket that I regrew out in the field. So what do we put that on the seed type? Well, the seed type is a tomato. Variety is 2024 mix. 2024, so we're going to write yellows. Crim. Cherokees. Super. Market. Pineapple. Yes. So we have date collected is 12, 23, 24. Oh, there's pack seed pack. Now look at this. This is barely from what we harvested, but look how full that seed packet is. Just from what was left over from tomatoes that we couldn't harvest from last year. And whatever seeds are left over are going to go in the compost pile and then be taken care of. So, 2024 mix. For tomatoes. But what else do we want to put on there for tomatoes? Well, we want the super sweet 100s. I'm going to try those. Those are indeterminate. Right, so I'm going to put ID at the end of that list. Next thing we're going to look at is Tiny Tims. Those are determinate tomatoes, so they only grow to a certain height. Now we're looking at probably about 20 plus tomato plants that we can run currently out there. We want to do a bunch of black tomatoes. We do black prince. So I know what I have in my book. Black Prince and Cherokee. Cherokee black tomatoes. It's like very close to it. Do some more yellow plums. Do yellow pears. Two different shapes. What we can do is green zebra. We're going to do the red, white, blue cherries. All those are indeterminates. Looking at 2024 mix. Super Sweet 100s. They grow as a small cherry tomato, but they grow a lot of them at one time. Tiny Tim's, which is a determinate tomato. Black Prince Cherokee tomato. I think those guys are very similar to yellow plums, yellow pears. Green Zebra, which is a tomato. It's like yellow and green. We got red, white, and blue tomato. There are cherries. There's 3 different types of cherry tomatoes. The blue tomato almost comes out almost like a little bit blackish and purple, and the white tomato comes out almost like a little bit yellow. Not the right book. Ah, yes. Okay. My rotating stool. Oh. So, what else do we want to run this year? Now, of course, things like marigolds and basil I do run as well. Marigolds are kind of an obvious one. Oh, I gotta show if I can put my feet on. Stop rotating. Things I want to try a little different. So, one of the things I want to try growing this year is called a mortgage lifter tomato. Come hither. It is a 80-day maturity. Is a massive, extremely tasty tomato that can weigh 2.5 to 4 pounds. Sounds extremely interesting. Yes, I'm getting very holly. Now, there's something actually called an early girl tomato. And the reason why they call that is just because it's a tomato that grows extremely quickly. From seed to harvest, 3 to 12 zones. Maturity varieties are 4 to 6 feet. Watering, it needs high amount of watering. 2 feet apart. Can be planted in the garden directly after danger of frost has risen. Many tomato varieties have long growing seasons, so be aware. Make sure they have enough time to reach maturity. Transplant seedlings to the garden when the soil is warm and after there are no more frost. Tomatoes need at least 6 hours of direct sunlight every day. Do not plant tomatoes in shady areas. Note to everybody out there, do not plant your tomatoes in shady areas, which a lot of people do, and then they lack on watering, and then they whine and they complain, and they ask me what did I do wrong, and I tell them the both. Then there's something that's called Big Mama, an enormous paste tomato. Meaty solid fruits with unusual high levels of sugar. Spend less time coring and peeling. Indeterminate. Harvest about 80 days after transplanting. Start indoors. Yada yada yada. Obviously, starting indoors. Before transplanting, move to sheltered area. Outside for a week. 3 to 4 feet apart in a sunny location after last frost in spring. So a lot of times tomatoes, they need bigger spacings because it's a bigger plant. So what we're going to do is Big Mama. Okay, try that one out. That's a new one to us. Then we have another one here that I find really interesting. I don't think it's going to work at all, but I'm just going to go with it. It's from Cozy Crib. It's a large tomato. It claims that it's a 100-pound tomato. So, plant that one as well. And if it is a 100-pound tomato, I will post a link in the description below. And if I get seeds from it, I will be selling the seeds at a dirt cheap price so that everybody can afford them. Because I don't believe that's real, but hey, we'll see. 100-pound tomato, you think that would have made the news, you know, somewhere in like Oklahoma or some shit. Let's see. Pepper-shaped tomato. Burpees early. Brandy boy. 4th of July tomato. See, the thing was, when I saw the 4th of July tomato, I thought it was a red, white, and blue tomato, but apparently it's a rich 4-ounce tomato that ripens extremely early. It's a 49-day tomato, so, but it's red. So it's not what I thought it would have been, but there is a super sauce tomato. Fruit weighs in as 2 pounds with a whopping 5.5 inches tall and 5 inches wide. One tomato fills an entire sauce jar. Indeterminate harvest about 70 days after transplanting in a warm, well-lit area 6 to 8 weeks before planting outdoors. Sow seeds 1/4 inch deep, which is what you do with all tomato seeds. Filled with starting formula, which you don't really need. Keep moist, which obviously happens. Seedlings emerge 7 to 10 days at 70 to 75 degrees before transplanting. Move to a shelter area outside for a week, which is where the greenhouses come into play, and that's exactly when I run the temperature for my tomatoes is 70, 75, sometimes 80. Plant them 3 to 4 feet apart in sunny location after last frost in spring. So I'm going to see how those super sauce runs, because I love making sauce as well, but so does my customer. But I have super sauce tomatoes for them that I'm going to be growing, but I'm just curious as well. We got steak sandwich hybrid, steakhouse. One's up to 3 pounds, one is 10 ounces. I think the steakhouse is worth trying. We got German Johnson Amish paste we did last year. Those are fucking good. Jet Star tomatoes, hybrid, bearer red, flesh, yada yada yada. I have a Japanese tomato I do want to try. It's Qingmanyang. Qingmanyang. So let's see how those are. Marigold, Alaska, Campbell 33, Floridian tomato. That tomato's gonna do some wild shit if it's a Floridian tomato. I'm telling you right now, that tomato's gonna be like riding a bar stool drunk, screaming. Moneymaker tomato, Carib, red pear. We got the New Yorker tomato. I know I'm skipping it. Hey, I gotta plant something next year, right? porterhouse and tomato red ball tennis ball, which was one of them that I had from last go around. So we're gonna grab our new pack of tomatoes that we just packed right now. Toss them in there. Oh, I gotta get my legs out. I gotta actually put seeds away as I mosey along over there. Seeds that I packed. Some pepper. Peppers, peppers, more peppers, more peppers, pepper, pepper, pepper. Those are impatiens. Lemons and corn. These are feed corn. Feed corn we feed to the critters so they can stop eating my shit. Which currently the critters I have are squirrels and rabbits. Rabbits can't get into the crowd area and the squirrels can jump over the fence, but the squirrels are more interested in burying their nuts in my freshly churned soil versus eating anything, which is really funny too, because I've heard a lot of people go, oh, the squirrels are eating my shit. I'm like, really? I got so much shit, I don't mind them eating it. What they are doing is planting crap out in the fields that I freshly fucking got ready for next year. It's alright. We're on this weird freaking thing. As soon as I start seeing them bury their corn, that's when I get excited and I start planting my corn. Because apparently the squirrels can out-corn me. Every fucking year. Squirrels will plant the feed corn, and the feed corn grows, and then I take the feed corn and I harvest the feed corn that they grew, and then they feed the squirrels with the feed corn, which then they replant it and it grows. There's like a weird cycle going on between them and I. I don't know what it is, but I'm learning a lot from my farmer squirrels. I think it was that they watch me too much and then they start planting shit. And then they just sit there and they're just writing in a little book on the side of the tree. I know I went off topic, but seriously, it's like if you were watching the shit that I watch, you'd be like, what the fuck? My corn ain't growing, but their corn's growing. Their corn's getting less water. My corn's getting a lot of water. Wait a minute, let's cut down the water. All of a sudden my corn grew. Just saying. Sometimes animals will teach you more than what anybody else will teach you. Anyway, so we got a watermelon beefsteak tomato. Let's try that one. So a beefsteak tomato is a big tomato. Watermelon, I think, is really pink. And a lot of things is that even though I'm making this list, I got to actually go back and look at what their harvest date is. So then I know exactly when to plant them. Because I don't want to plant a tomato in January that's going to get ready before the last frost date. But yet I got yellow plum tomatoes that have been here since October and they're only about this tall and they haven't done shit. Which they are one of my experimental sections. Which then makes me wonder if I can start my tomatoes early, keep them indoors, keep them alive with just watering. That's all they've been getting is watering. And when it's time to plant them outdoors, will they take off? That's the biggest question. Very intrigued with these ones. I keep experimenting. That's how I learn more. And that's what I want everybody else to do. Experiment with your plants. It's fun, it's cheap, it's extremely affordable, and it's rewarding in the end. Anyway, so we are in the pink tomato stage, obviously. What else do we have that might be an interesting one to try? So I got ones from Burpees and Everybody Else Under the Sun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 tomato plants so far. And they're all going to be planted on different levels. And if one plant is a short period plant, it's going to be listed on my book as, okay, this gets harvested in this time period and eventually it's going to die out, so I can have another plant that would be a short period of time for the season, so I could just replace that plant with this plant. Right? Or, which I know goes against everybody on YouTube except for me, is I will plant a 50-day plant and a, let's say, 70-day plant in the same pod, plant them together, so that when the 50-day plant dies, I don't have to replant another plant. The other plant that's a longer plant will sit in that spot and will keep running when the other plant dies. I know, I think ahead of times, but everybody else goes, oh, that's a bad idea. But it's alright. I like to be crazy. I like to push the limit of stuff. The thing is, though, is you got to remember is that if you're pushing the limit, it needs a lot more water and possibly fertilizer if you're going down that range. If it's not fertilizer, you just got to basically the real reason for fertilizer is to replace the nutrients that are taken from the plants. Tomatoes, see you later, Pen. Tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers are extremely large, and zucchini and squashes are extremely large suckers of nutrients in the soil and losing your pen and water. So you got to always remember that they need all that stuff a lot. So the more you put in a small area, the more watering you need, the more nutrients that you're going to have to replace back into your soil. That's why at the time of the year, before it turns into 9 degrees outside, you want to make sure your bed is amended and ready to go in case you decide to go crazy like I'm about to and put a bunch of shit in a small location that needs a lot of nutrients or needs a bar stool to stop rotating. I don't know why I grabbed the bar stool to put in the nursery. Anyway, so we got pink tomato, pink mama marmalade. I'm curious about this other one. I got a pink Thai egg tomato. And it actually is a determinate. This determinate, oh, this should not be here. It's in the indeterminate section. But this determinate tomato, grape type tomato, has pinkish red skin, egg shaped, grows 1.5 inches long. The flavor is mild, sweet, and acidic. It is high yielding with crack resistant fruit. Interesting. And it was in the wrong spot. Should have been in the back of the book. So we're going to put this on here as a tomato. Pink. Put that as a determinate tomato. Good thing I caught that. Got another one. Okay. I'm going to have to really go through my book. I was buying a lot of seeds at one time, and I think that was really my biggest issue. So I didn't really look. I was just like, oh, yeah, cool. So we got like snow white tomatoes. We got large white cherry tomatoes. Got a white beefsteak tomato. I just never saw a white beefsteak. Now it's probably like a yellowish color, but let's throw that on there, right? I gotta think. Oh, my phone's there. So I was gonna look at the security cameras over at the tomato farm. See how many strings we have. Just make it work, right? We got the blue tomatoes, which are the, which we talked about already. We got orange tomatoes too. I knew there was an orange tomato. Hybrid. Orange, I'm glad we decided to do this tonight. Orange sun gold. We got orange on there at all. No. What I do want to try is an orange cherry tomato. Let's try that. Emmy, you can come inside. Okay. Yellow plums, yellow pears. There's also another yellow brandy wine. Honeycombs. Then there's a stripy, multicolored tomatoes. Ah, yes. I want to. You gonna come in or no? Do the hillbilly. Hillbilly tomato. It's like a red and yellow-ish orange one. Bicolor, tie-dye, Japanese truffle, Growtopia tomato. Yeah, that's right. Black creme and Cherokee purple are kind of like both like a blackish red tomato. We got green zebra and green tiger. Green zebra tomato is like a round tomato that's like green and yellow. And then there's a green zebra tomato, which is like elongated. That's like green but more yellow. There's also black beauties. It's a flame tomato, which sounds interesting. I don't believe a lot of these seeds are going to take off that are from like different brands, but it's always worth trying them. And I got a chocolate striped tomato. Let's put that on there. It's like a brownish, reddish, auburn color tomato. Chocolate tomato. Okay, it's just a tomato book. It's crazy, right? We got vintage wine tomatoes. We got Tigerella, Indigos. We got the purple tomatoes. The Black Prince is just a straight black tomato along with the Black Elephant tomato, which we got on there as well. Got black Japanese truffle tomatoes, black cherry tomatoes, black sea tomatoes. And we got the one tomato I can't pronounce. It's like the tomatillo. Now I'm looking at a difference, like tomatillo. I was calling it Tomelia, but tomatillo. I got the door closed. That's why she's having a conniption.
Oh, okay, because she has to be complaining.
Yeah, I know.
Package.
All right, thank you.
She comes out, she's complaining to me.
I tried to let her in, but she didn't want to.
She's being at me.
All right, so Rio Grande, 55. Then we got some dwarf ones. That's an orange. Heather. Right. Tiny Tim we got on there as a determinant. So determinant. No, baby's cold outside. I got a bunch of seeds. Trying to figure out what I wanna plan on New Year's. Orange dwarf tomato. Orange. Because I got that section for the dwarf tomatoes, which are the ones that are determinate. Silver. Yellows. most hated song out there. Meanwhile, you had a woman talking about a wet ass. Why is this upside down? Did I put these upside down? Didn't I? Looking at the last end of the book. Outside. Stay. What about a wet ass laundromat? Wet ass carpet. I don't want to hear that shit. Motherfucker. What the fuck did I do wrong? Oh my god. Really? Or is it just that top one? I'm looking at the perforated sides here. Oh, mother of God. Get in the hole. If you fall on the ground one more fucking time, I swear to God, I'm gonna deport you back to fucking Japan. The pen is what I'm getting at. Okay. Pink. Tomato. Well, has a large amount of tomatoes that I ciphered through to figure out exactly which ones I'm going to grow for this season. And, well, this is just a tomato video. So, hope you guys stay tuned and like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family. And I will try not to offend everybody as much as I love doing it. But, like, subscribe, like I said, share it with your friends and family. Get out there and grow something. Before I end this video, as I put the tomato book away, we got a lot more coming along. But for the season of 2025, which is run off that list with everybody, we have the tomato mix of 2025. Everybody should do this. Is take the plants that you grew, the season that you had that had the greatest harvest those seeds, put them in a package, and grow them again. Because they were great. And you know what's great about doing a variety? You don't know what you're going to get. And please, everybody, stop trimming your plants and stop cutting them all. Just let like 3 or 4 tomato plants grow together in one spot. I did it. And I got an amazing harvest. And I can't wait till I see this year's section of 2024 mix of the different plants that are growing together in one spot. Just remember, they're going to need a lot more fertilizer. Going to need a lot more water. But if you're making your own shit, it doesn't matter. The next one we got down. And those are all indeterminate tomatoes. Super Sweet 100 tomatoes, all indeterminate tomatoes. We got Tiny Tims that we're going to be planting this year that are determinants. We can do Black Prince and Cherokee Purple that are indeterminants. Yellow plums, yellow pears, green zebras, red, white, and blue cherry tomatoes. That's going to be fun. I can't wait to start doing that so you guys can love it and watch it. You guys can do it yourself. And I will share down below where the seeds are from. And if I get a great harvest and finally I can start selling some seeds to everybody, like I said, all my seed packets are going to be less than $5 or even less than that, and they're going to be a full seed packet because I do not believe that people should be getting less than a solid seed packet. You know, what's really annoying is you buy a bunch of seeds that are down at the bottom and you're spending $20. Why? You should get a full seed packet for your money, and I want to change that in this world because that is not fair to everybody. You should be getting a full packet of seeds, honestly, and I'm going to change that. And I'm working on it. Next one we have is Mortgage Lifter Big Mama 100-pound tomato. Can't wait to see that one. Super Sauce Steakhouse Quince Macun, the Chinese tomato. Watermelon Beef Steak Tomato. Pink Thai Egg Tomato, which is a determinant. White Beef Steak Tomato, which should be interesting. Orange Tomato, Hillbilly Tomato, Chocolate Tomato. That should be really interesting. It'd be great if it tasted like chocolate. That would be really horribly weird. Tomatillo tomatoes that are green. And then all my determinate tomatoes at the end, the Rio Grande, the Orange Dwarf, the Yellow Dwarf, and the Pink Tomato. Anyway, guys, like I said, like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family out there. Sooner or later, I'm going to find a way to get everybody the seeds that they need that actually do grow for an affordable price so that we can all stop buying seeds. Because so far, as you guys can see from my brown bags, it's all the seeds that I've collected. And that tomato book right now costs probably somewhere around $700 to $800, which is buying seeds. So I want to stop that. That's stupid, right? So anyway, guys, that's Mike over here from Growtopia. That's the tomato book of what's coming in 2025. But we got a lot more growing on. Guys, wait for the next video. We're going to see what else we're going to be growing out in Growtopia. Have a great, wonderful night. Have a beautiful Christmas and a Happy New Year. Later.